love it so much that I immediately asked. I was like, yo, can we get some sort of like meter to judge? Or going from like Dignitas looking decent to Dignitas, I love the phrase, his phrasing was biggest clown.
Yeah.
So we'll see in this game number 1, will they be decent or will they be the biggest clown?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ignar definitely a character.
It was funny, yeah.
Well, happy to see too, because he was like, oh wow, you know, I had to play Enchantress for so long, I kind of almost forgot how to play melees. But his Alistar was looking like
looking clean.
It was just back on the bicycle, you know, good as new. They do ban the Nautilus against him, and Nautilus is, you know, one of the premier, you know, kill-oriented melee, you know, hook champions looking for point-and-click CC. So I wonder if that means, you know, the FlyQuest bottom lane here want to play some sort of like hyper carry, or at the very least some sort of carry for Masu that does not have a dash and would get punished more. Of course, Ashe and Seraphine, when you have Karma Band, Bard Band, and Nautilus Band, that hits the Ezreal Karma, it hits the Caitlyn Bard, and it hits any sort of Nautilus lane that you would want to pay into it. So Ashe Seraphine looks way better when all of those other supports are banned out, so they are going to go that route.
Yeah, and I feel like if you're going to allow them to have Ashe Seraphine, I mean, you could actually try to split it up and take the Ashe away, but if you're going to allow them to have Ashe Seraphine, you need a ganking jungler and you need to try to punish it. Like, we were actually talking about this on the dive. The win rate for Ashe Seraphine into what is the most common pro answer of Corki Nami is horrible for the Corki Nami. So they are going to try to break up the duo. They grab the Jarvan as well as the Ashe. So now it becomes the question, you know, which is the better half of the duo? And I always think this is interesting in League. We had this when Zyra Khan was super popular back in the days, and different teams would have different opinions about which is the more important half.
And we've seen some teams, you know, go with like Ezreal Seraphine instead. You still get poke damage. You don't get, of course, like super godlike slow combinations and stuff. But I assume they'll still go for something like that, and you still can get the poke damage, and it is good versus Ashe and most Ashe combinations. But then, you know, Ashe can also go for a lot more punishment. You've got a Jarvan jungle on your side, so you do have that ability to try and jump on the Seraphine.
Yeah, I wonder if they would go like Ashe Nico or something and try to play, you know, something a little bit more lane focused that's still in the meta, or if Ignar would just go towards, you know, an enchanter himself. I feel like, you know, Lulu to me is a weaker laner than Seraphine, so it is going to scale really well, of course, but I do kind of favor what FlyQuest has in the 2v2.
Personally, though, if I'm the Ambessa, just from Ambessa view, you know, we just saw the last couple picks, and FlyQuest, they go Ezreal plus Ambessa.
Is not fun.
And then if you're locking in Ambessa, and then you see a Lulu immediately on the other side, you're like, ah!
If you're the jungler, you say, hey, top laner, you want to play this?
Yeah.
This looks fun, this game.
Yeah. I think there's a very high likelihood still that Griffin does play it. You know,
Yeah,
Griffin loves Ambessa jungle. He is a big carry jungler, so probably still play it here. But yeah, playing into Polymorph, playing into Lulu, it can be significantly more difficult.
All right, so Renekton ban going to come through. We've already seen Rise taken off the table. Palafox has been a pretty big fan of Anivia so far, you know, in this split. And over on the other side, Quad has been playing a variety of different things. His two most played still up and available in the Hwei, as well as the Annie.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple. They're looking to take away as many blind picks as possible too for top side. You can tell for the Gakko side, and it is a point of contention because the top lane champion pool here, you know, Gakkos has had a lot more success on non-tanks, and Photon has brought out some very fun counter picks with like the Silas counter pick that he did into Gnar as well, and so. You know, this top lane focus actually here. Ooh, interesting. With Galio ban also could open up some more Rumble looks here, but it would need a little bit more CC to work with.
The Shen ban's also interesting because I know that Griffin played it in one of the EWC qualifiers in jungle, so maybe they were still respecting the fact that it could actually be a flex and do decide to ban it out. Of course, Impact also played it last week in top lane and did do quite well, and there's a Rumble as you called out. Ornn is still up and available, Sion is still up and available, but as you said, Gakkos really has not had that much success on the tanks. Of course, you know, it's not just on him, but FlyQuest is winless with Gakkos on tanks so far this split, and they are actually 100% win rate when he's playing carries. So has not really been working out for them, and could just be Annie has that primary engage that is comfort for Quad, and they are a little bit light on engage for sure. You know, with the Ashe being taken away, that is another wrinkle where they didn't kind of have that primary way to start the fight, and now they do with Quad on the Annie.
And Quad, you know, Annie is one of the primary engage champs that he does play. He doesn't play a whole bunch of engage mid, but that definitely is one. And Annie plus Ambessa plus Seraphine, now they've got it covered.
Yep.
Plenty for themselves, and it looks like they are going to do the swap for the Ambessa into the top lane, into the Rumble, and bring out Griffin's Pantheon.
Okay.
He's got a giant grin, because if you saw ThinkGuard's tweet, who is also smiling right now, I don't know what they're talking about, but ThinkGuard was like, I tried to get Griffin to play Pantheon for 3 months, and he's telling me, the champion's not that good. And then Forest Within, or Forest Without on his other account, tweeted at you know, Griffin one time, and they had that kind of debate on Twitter. And then instantly Griffin's like, oh yeah, Pantheon's strong, and he has all these Pantheon games. And he has had quite a few very strong Pantheon games as well for Griffin. So definitely a fun one here that he's come around to, you know, and definitely enjoys. And also, honestly, Pantheon with the point and click works so well with all of these lanes. You know, point and click, great for Ambessa. You can guarantee Ambessa ults, or you know, you can try and use that one to get the follow up there. Anyways, with the Pantheon ult coming through, same thing for Annie. Lots and lots and lots of CC chains available here to FlyQuest. And if you're worried about, oh yeah, we've got melee carries and stuff, well, if you just have a whole bunch of melee carries, you can't polymorph us all.
Yep. But you can wild growth them if they're stacked up, so you
true. Still
still have that. Also interesting to see Palafox locking in the Aurora, not a champion that I associate him with. Quad, we saw him play his first Aurora game last week, did quite well on it. And Palafox only has the 3 Aurora games all time and no Aurora games so far this year. So is 1 and 2 on the champion, hasn't played it very much, but does decide to bring it out against Quad's Annie. And I expect him to be able to have a pretty good laning phase, I would think, into the Annie. Should be able to have the range advantage there, and we'll see how he's going to be able to pilot it.
All right, FlyQuest versus Dignitas here. Both of these teams really looking to make some moves up the LCS ladder, and definitely need to start here.
Yep, it's going to be an important one here for Dignitas, still looking for their first win of the split as far as series are concerned. Had a couple of close series against both TL and LYON, and now trying to climb the table here. And it does start to get pretty important to pick up these wins. FlyQuest as well, you know, has been close a number of times, but 1 and 2, you know, not exactly where they want to be. But this is a win that they would be expecting to be able to get, as we could see that Quad had made a move down towards bot side, trying to see if there was any level 1 play, and there was not. So now Palafox is going to get the early shove here, and it is going to be Quad getting familiar with the sights and sounds of his own tower early on.
Going to be on the receiving end, but all pretty easy so far. He got both melee minions in time back to the wave. Not just experience, got the gold as well. So good job here for Quad.
Tower shots, double tower shot taken by Palafox.
We got it.
Quad had his Q stun prepped, or maybe it was a W, I'm not sure. We didn't see what spell he actually leveled, but Palafox went for a trade and did get stunned there, and now Palafox takes 2 tower shots, loses his flash, and he's going to be sent back to base.
I think we got to get a replay. So oftentimes we do replays for kills, but
here we go.
Yeah, we got to see this because he got tower aggro too. So he goes for an auto and immediately gets stunned as he's trying to hop backwards.
Greedy boy there gets punished. Is Masu going to trade out the barrier? The heal is traded back on the other side from Ignar. FBI is playing Flash Ghost, so he does not have that second combat summoner, as Photon getting rocked in that trade there by Gakgos. Puts him quite low, but Photon does trade back pretty nicely on the end of that.
Yeah, that Quad didn't even have to do anything special. It was just definitely a little bit of a blunder there on the early game, but no summoner spells at all now for Palafox after having to teleport back after the early trade fiasco here. We'll see how that does kind of snowball, because if Annie gets lane priority and has teleport and flash available, you can start to affect the other lanes way earlier than you thought you previously could, especially in this matchup. So might have some ramifications for the rest of the members of Dignitas. Jungler's going to both finish their clears on the bottom side. Of course, We saw XU already kind of walking over on Vision, so they're very well aware of his presence. And because of the push bot and the extra ward, he's just going to give up that bot Scuttle Crab.
Yeah, it was nicely timed there on the ward from Cryogen. Had he been a couple seconds later, he would have been actually face-checking the Jarvan and could have gone bad. Hawkshot will spot Griffin, but he's going to be able to grab the first scuttle, and he's just running straight up towards that second scuttle because Quad has Prio in mid, and Gakkos has Prio in top, so XU running out there as well. It could be a fight for it, but I think this is probably going to go bad for XU if he does commit to it, given that Quad would be faster to respond here, you would have to think, and they will be starting up this scuttle. Griffin going to be looking to secure it, does secure it. XU goes in. Now Palafox actually going to be the first to arrive. Quad there trying to give some support, but Griffin going to have to flash out. Will survive, of course, but does get the double scuttle and looks to reset.
And even if you know you're not going to be able to go for this Smite steal, I like XU's idea here. Griffin is going to do a Q plus Smite on the Scuttle Crab to secure the Scuttle Crab. So you're not going to have your damage spells to fight XU afterwards. So XU says, fine, I will EQ you as you get the Scuttle Crab. And they earn the flash off of him. And if that allows you to counter jungle Krugs, then that's a big dub.
Yep.
So very positive play here for XU. Getting double scuttled is not even close to the end of the world and ends up being quite decent there. And no flash on Pantheon does reduce some of the potency of that gank pressure that could go punish the Palafox without flash in mid otherwise.
Yeah, and I mean, XU knew he was going to be winning that fight, as you said. He used a spell, but also he had the double longsword buy, right? Whereas Griffin had not yet been back to base. But I wanted to touch on Gakkos. I mentioned it during the draft, but they have had a lot of success with him on carries, you know, on these non-tank style champions versus him on the tanks. They're actually 0-4 with him on tanks on the Cassante, the Ornn, and the Sion. Haven't yet won a game. Of course, that's not just on him, but it is a pattern that I had been noticing where, you know, when Gakkos is weak-sided, when he is not on a carry that can kind of make the individual plays, he seems to have less impact on the game. And I think he has been struggling a bit on playing how to frontline, which is something you often see with a lot of young players that, you know, climb up in solo queue by playing carries. You know, how far you dive on a tank is more the difficulty of the tank, knowing your limits. As Gakkos is down a level here, Photon just going to drop the equalizer, and we'll be able to push Gakkos back, who did just teleport back. So maybe going to be forced to base. We'll see. If Gakkos can get 6, though, Photon could be in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, needs a bit more experience here to take over.
We're going to see Between Worlds as Palafox gets flashed on by Quad, and Quad, last auto coming through. The Tibbers burn, cannot quite get in range. Palafox will survive, and on the top side, Gakkos will not be so lucky, or will he? The last Electro Harpoon barely misses, and Gakkos gets out with his life, getting both of the flashes off of Photon and XU there, and surviving without even using the ultimate.
Equally as lucky, I guess, in fact, and flash is blown all across the map. Meanwhile, Griffin here was just working away on Dragon, so XU shows top. XU uses the flash here in the attempted gank, and that just means objective for FlyQuest. No blood on either side. Quad here really wanted to punish the flash advantage he had over Palafox, and he's got his level 6 advantage as well, so another Q stun was hit to set it up and drop the Tibbers as well. But as we know, it wasn't enough damage, and then wanted to go a little bit further.
Yeah, Palafox walked back in, which was the risky part there. He walked back in, then Quad flashed on him, and that's where he got him down to about, I want to say, an auto of health. Probably did keep him alive, but at the end of the day, Palafox survives, and now he has his flash back, and Quad is going to be the one missing his, so could be dangerous. XU just hit 6 now, so that is a pretty easy gank target, and you can see XU was hanging around mid lane looking for the opportunity.
Still no first blood as well, so you're going to have a pretty big W. Wait a second, we have a super deep ward behind Pantheon at the moment too that does see. And those wards, it's a very rarely checked brush, so as he walked from Krugs towards the red, it would see him. It's not going to see into like the health of the red or anything like that, but definitely a rare one to check, so we'll have the extra knowledge here for quite a while.
Yeah, and that one's already been there for quite a while. That was there after XU forced the flash from Griffin. So he actually dropped that very early on after that second scuttle was taken, and that brush has not yet been checked. That is one of the things sometimes you'll hear big complaints about from coaches, you know, when they're like, this ward was in that brush for like 10 minutes and we didn't check, and they're getting so much free info. And when you already have an Ashe on the other team, this is something you talk about a lot. it's already, you know, kind of this like map hack that's there for the Ashe team. So if you're going to get free vision on the top side from that control ward that's not getting checked, plus the hawk shot, it will be really difficult for Griffin to find an angle to get a gank.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that brush is in very few auto paths through jungle. And so you only really naturally check it when you're like resetting from base over to a quick red buff or something to go there, unless you're intentionally looking around. But sometimes when you're retaking an area of the map where you know you got invaded on, like the early exit path that you're talking about, then make an effort.
They're going to go in. The Grand Starfall comes in, and the ward was not enough. First blood claimed by Griffin as Gakko set it up, and Griffin just knocked him down.
Beautiful combo there. Ambessa ultimate used to set up the landing for Griffin. And Gakko's on carries. Gakko's on carries is quite good and successful for them. Does get the first blood bonus, goes into the hands of Griffin. And bodes quite well, because if you get the melee carries ahead on this FlyQuest comp, they're going to have so many weapons to use when we get to the mid-game fights.
Absolutely, and he is strong. I'm really curious, though, if Griffin was visible on vision at all. Like, could he have known that he was up there? I didn't actually see where he pathed through, because we just talked about those wards on the top side and hawkshot and everything, but somehow he got up there and was able to find the gank. So,
yeah, I'm looking at it right now. He just walked down through lane. So he did
no
not
counterplay.
Didn't enter his own jungle at all.
Nothing you can do.
You get a Pantheon ult from Fog of War right on top of your head. And yeah, I mean, Ambessa ult, when the enemy doesn't have flash, sometimes if you have really good responses and you have a move speed boost, you can dodge. Move speed boost like that. Nicely done, Quad. Dodges on the Ashe arrow, but
he misses the cannon, so it wasn't even worth it.
Rather get the cannon and get stunned and see what happens.
Exactly.
Afterwards.
You know, if you can't get the cannon, life's just not worth living. You know, got to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah, might as well give over a kill.
Well, Quad feeling a bit uncomfortable, and now with Griffin behind him, he knew that he is vulnerable. He still was missing his flash, so that's why he's not walking up. He was worried, you know, that Ignar would be there, Xe would be there, someone could be looking to punish that missing flash. But now, with Cryogen and Griffin around, of course, he has the confidence to step forward here. FlyQuest could be looking for a pretty quick second dragon if they are so inclined, as Masu trading back and forth with FBI. The bot lane's been pretty much dead even at the end of the day. You know, there was the push early going to Masu and Cryogen, but it hasn't really amounted to anything.
Yeah, farming away nicely. Both of these supports scaling quite well. And the solo lanes have been where a lot of the action is, a lot of the fun trades and dangerous trades. We've had a pretty competitive opening here. With just the single kill going over, but FlyQuest, you have to imagine feeling quite comfortable. Gakko's now with the early Hex Drinker as well, going to feel very confident versus Photon. He already has the turret plate. He got the assist money at least from the first blood, and trying to work on the second turret plate. If you push one more in, that is very close to being taken. Since Griffin did get the actual kill credit, your full Sundered Skies done, kind of matching XU here, and just keep on stacking dragons.
Yep, and they are going to do just that, starting that up. I was also going to mention, I think it's actually a really good Serpents game for Gakkos when you're thinking about Scrap Shield. You have, Masu going to shift right into that, gets stunned up. He does not have Cleanse. The peel's coming through. The barrier's there. The Grand Starfall, the Tibbers, everything getting thrown on XU. And XU barely has the damage to finish off Masu, but will be traded back. And now Palafox coming in. He goes across the veil. He's going to go between worlds as well. Looking to turn around on him is FlyQuest. They're trying to focus down Palafox, but they can't quite do it. Griffin has to flash out. FBI flashes over the wall, looking to try to finish him off, but Griffin is fighting. Palafox comes in to back him up. The Lulu shields are there. They can't knock down FBI, but Gakkos on the top side. Flash back from Photon is not enough to keep him safe. Gakkos gets one back on the other side of the map.
Oh, Dignitas with a confidence play. I like it. They do get the extra kills, flashing over with multiple members. Here's how they started it off, though. Ashe arrow out of the brush from FBI. Right as Xe was coming around, and Ignar had cleared that ward. So they do get the full all-in. At first you think, oh, maybe this Seraphine peel and the shield is going to be enough, but Xe does barely finish him off, so that was huge, allowing the counterplay here. Palafox comes in, hits them all with the ultimate, and even though they turn back around, FBI doesn't hesitate. Palafox says, I'll be right there once I have my spells. And also, over the wall, Ignar joining as well, pops him up with the shield. But not to be outdone, Gakkos here on Ambessa, very confident again. He had the Hex Drinker as well too, so He is chilling, goes for the full on. Another Mbessa ult, another kill.
He's just like, I got mine. How are you guys doing on the other side?
Yeah. I mean, that honestly, that could be like a morale saver right there. Everybody on the bottom side just died, and they're looking around for some hope. And then Gax is like, "Don't worry, guys.
We got you Vision of Jarvan on the bot side."
Yeah,
that was us.
Jungle's down here.
That was us. That was us.
Honestly, though, when you know enemy jungle's down there for top laners, it's like, good.
There you go.
It's now a fair fight. I know I can all in and 1v1 this guy.
Yep, drawing pressure. But yeah, I mean, I think Serpents would actually go super hard here for Gakkos. We'll see if he wants to go. Tibbers going to get dropped by Quad, is just pushing Palafox back because there's Scrap Shield, there's the Golden Aegis, there's all of the Lulu shields. There's a lot of shields here to actually break through. So we'll be interested to see if it is going to get grabbed by Gakkos this game. As Palafox trying to bait Quad forward there, who again is missing his flash after that bot side play, and XU hanging around. They are going to look with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, will not connect. And meanwhile, FlyQuest will get this second dragon that they had started before that scrap, but of course pulled off once the fight broke out.
Yeah, so the timer on the dragon stacking is still going to be delayed because of all the fighting that went on, but they are going to keep it, you know, as one of their big win cons here. If you can get this team over to a dragon early, and you're stacking them, you draw the enemy to you, you have really, really big opportunity to turn off of it with, again, the things we were talking about. Annie with the flash, you have Ambessa and Gakkos who's been nailing these ults after ults. And once you're all the way in there with Ambessa and Pantheon ults in and your Seraphine can just bounce the ult off the top of your heads, it's a very dangerous turn off these objectives. So dragon stacking definitely going to be a very useful tool here for FlyQuest.
Yep. I want to talk about Dignitas a little bit, though, and the fact that they've actually been very competitive against some good teams these last couple weeks. Of course, you see that they're 0-3. They are at the bottom of the standings, but they got a good win against Liquid. They got a good win against LYON. They are putting together some pretty impressive individual games, and you have to give them the respect for that. So this is the power rankings in the middle, the initial power rankings from the LCS broadcast. So they're going to look for a pick here onto Cryogen. He is going to get knocked up, CC down. That should be an easy kill. But these were their opponents. You know, power ranked aggregate first was LYON, and then third was TL, and they did go 1-2 against both those teams. They are now against another team that we had power ranked in that top 4, and we'll see if they have an opportunity here and are going to be able to actually get a series win, which would be huge against FlyQuest.
I just want to say props to the observers for the lead up of that kill, because the observers just showed us all the wards being laid down, and then you had Cryogen as we get another chunk of health. Cryogen killed the pink ward finally that we were talking about for quite a long time. So they see him clear that one, and they see Griffin clear the one in Krugs.
Ooh, Grand Starfall, they're looking for the dive onto Palafox, but Gakkos is already low. Don't think this one is going to work, and Ignar is rushing out there. Gakkos going to have to be careful on the exit. Might actually be forced to flash. Nice side steps on the spells, though, as Griffin getting slowed down. Will be able to just walk this one out, but that is a couple ults forced there on the bot side as Palafox able to navigate that expertly and does survive. He's now 2-0-1, about to have his flashback up.
Well, another Pantheon ult down now, so they have a little window here where they can try and push back out. Ignar covering for Palafox, again clearing all this vision. And the vision work really has set up quite a few of these plays. Ignar, again, just solo Lulu now. Because Pantheon already used ult, solo Lulu gets to go in deep and get some more deep vision. Last one did result in a very successful play for them. Ashe Arrow, another swing at Quad. Quad knows. All right, yes, that's like the 7th arrow you sent at my head. Maybe I should just like hold onto my shield always.
What did he say to FBI? What did he do to him?
Sorry, not sorry.
Ran down one of his solo queue games or something. FBI just on cooldown. Here comes another one.
Even when he moves to top lane, just gotta nail this Annie. Honestly, though, look at the other champions. They're all pretty hard to hit as well. You know.
Nah, I like my story more.
Yeah, the personal grudge.
Yeah, exactly. Let's just make up a grudge match.
The grudges that are tearing the LCS players apart. Ezreal's pretty hard to hit, even though that was actually his successful arrow. Yep,
exactly. And now Tibbers going to get dropped again onto Photon, and this time Griffin is here. Photon could be in some trouble. Teleport coming up. but Dignitas is ready to respond. The Mbessa is going to be TPing in the middle of the team, and so is TP on the top side as Palafox getting chunked down. Cryogen arrives. Photon's going back to base. XU is in a world of trouble. Has to flash away from the Encore, but going to get stunned up and knocked down. Gakgos gets another, and he wants more. Griffin flashes forward. Palafox goes between worlds as Gakgos flashes past the tower. Masu has arrived, and FlyQuest are still chasing them, but FBI is arriving on the scene here. Masu and Griffin should be able to walk this one out. Ignar trying to stop Gakgos. He is able to stop the base. Gakgos has to run because the teleport is coming back in here from Photon, but he doesn't have his equalizer, so I think that's going to be the end of things.
And they have an extra teleport on FlyQuest, so they send Quad down to bottom lane. So after this entire play, they use their extra teleport, push bot wave, get the minions down there. But here's a look at the start. They have the control ward, the walk over, Annie gets dropped, set up the play here. And the real difference is when two people are teleporting in, and one of them is a top laner with a role quest, you get a giant shield. So XU camps on Gakgos, but Gakgos comes in with that huge shield. He also doesn't even get his timing on his first EQ on the teleport arrival. Did not get that timing correct, and so he got punished immediately. Meanwhile, the Palafox teleport, he doesn't have a very big safety shield or anything. He had to get out of there. He got chunked. He had to run for his life. So kind of rough there for the Dignitas side. And
it seemed like a little bit of a panic moment for Palafox because I expected when he arrived he would just go across the veil because even if you get stunned, you're invis at least, right?
Yeah.
But instead he just spammed flash as he arrived, but you can't flash the Pantheon stun. So he still just got stunned on the other side of that and was down his flash very quickly. Going to be looking to crash this in mid lane. That is a healthy tower, but instead they're going to turn towards the Dragon here as FlyQuest is trying to go for their third Dragon. XU going to be heading into the middle of the team. The Ash Arrow is going to go splitting the uprates, and on the side, Palafox gets caught, and Palafox gets killed by Quad. The Dragon is taken by FlyQuest, and the fight looks to be going their way, but FBI trying to turn things around. Gets Gakgos low. FlyQuest, though, not done yet. Masu shifts forward. That was way too aggressive. Has to pop the barrier, has to pop the flash. FlyQuest should just leave there low on health. They got the Dragon, but Masu getting punished for a very aggressive shift in.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a dub for them because they got their third Dragon, but and they got the extra kills there onto XU and to Palafox. Some extra summoner spells down afterwards. Take a little deep breath after that one. Set up for the Dragon Soul in 5 minutes. All good, FlyQuest. Yeah, I think they were just cooking a little bit too much there. Tried to go with the flank and then Rift Herald driving through all of them. But then they left themselves isolated, and it was a good call, FlyQuest. They all pulled down to the bottom side of the fight. So FlyQuest right now, they're making the call, okay, go down to the bottom side. Palafox is down here, and they do have that ward. And so they dropped the Tibbers. They just annihilated Palafox. Quad just dumped everything on him and blew up Palafox. So then when XU pops out, he didn't really have much left. It was a long Rift Herald drive down to
Masu face-checking XU, but will shift back over the wall. Flag drag does not connect, but the Cataclysm indeed will. And this time the arrow nailed again onto Masu.
No sums.
Keeps firing him at Quad. Maybe Masu's the target.
Yep. Quad's a little bit harder to pin down. Masu, wait, is he though?
Uh-oh. Quad looking to try to get out of here. Palafox goes between worlds. In comes Griffin trying to back up Quad. Quad tries to run over the wall, but does get killed off there by Palafox, who now has the reset on the other side. Gakgos is just pushing down bot lane. Photon's got to get over there and try to respond because you don't want to be giving over that free plates. But mid lane is going to be knocked down by Ashe at the same time. So Dignitas winning across the map right now. Make a big play on top side and get the tower kill in mid lane.
Yeah, FlyQuest kind of falling apart here after the lane assignments and just kind of taking some weird routes. Setting up after the play. No vision and some risky movements from some carries here. Definitely good punishes for Dig. And they still, honestly, even though it is, the 3 Dragons here, they've still got a very competitive shot at winning all of the rest of the fights. It doesn't really matter if you don't give up the soul. I mean, there's also a teleport for Annie, so they've got split push Annie going here, but they're just trying to create some extra time.
Yeah, it looks like they want to maybe try to start something. They were grouped very heavily, trying to fight for a vision. Masu Forced to shift back over the wall, and the arrow comes out. Nicely buffered there by Griffin, but the equalizers drop behind him. He has to flash out. In comes Palafox, the encore across multiple members, but in the backline is XU knocking down Cryogen. Quad is on the side, getting one back. Gakgos kills off one, and all of a sudden the wheels fall off for Dignitas. XU still alive, as is Palafox, but that is 3 kills for just the Seraphine, and XU might just get chased down. Quad gonna stun him up. Masu coming in on the side, and Gakgos looking to flank in behind him. I don't know if XU has any way out of this. He will be knocked down by FlyQuest, and now it is Baron on the table. Palafox around, has his flash, has his ult, but Griffin's just going to ult right back in and start this up. Palafox trying to chunk them down. Does get a bit of damage down on the Griffin, but I just can't see how we can approach and make this happen. Feels that he has to try for it, though. Throws out the 2-fold Hex, looking to get some damage down, but is stunned up there by Quad. In comes the True Shot Barrage. Palafox put incredibly low, and that is going to be the end of any shot to contest. FlyQuest without Smite claim the Baron here, and now they are on Soul Point. Now they are fully in control.
Oh man, that ramp is just a dream fight for Seraphine. The ramp is like the exact width of a Seraphine ultimate. So right here, you're going to see them retreat over this ramp and get a huge turn. All right. Stun used on Griffin, and he's going to flash back over. So really good kiting, and then the turn right through the ultimate, and Gakgos, look at this big ulti through him, is just, they get annihilated. Gakgos and Bessa has been hitting all game long. XU in the back line, of course, does at least punish Cryogen and kill the Seraphine, but Seraphine's job was already done.
Yeah,
Cryogen,
I pressed R, buddy.
Yeah, well done, soldier. Worthy death.
Yeah, Seraphine taking center stage. Beautiful ult by Cryogen there. And it is now just about 15 seconds until that Ocean Soul is up and available. Not the best soul, honestly, with a squishy FlyQuest team, but Palafox looking on the side, trying to get some chunk down onto Griffin. Nicely timed shield came through from Cryogen, though, and he pretty much absorbs the entire thing, and now Dignitas getting pushed in mid. FlyQuest will take control of the river.
All right, watch the positioning. You cannot afford to group up again and over-chase down a small line like that. So Palafox is trying to flank again. Last time he was on that bottom side dragon flank, though, he just got blown up. This time, it is Gakgos that is marking that side.
Well, the Ash Arrow did connect there in onto Cryogen. Cryogen is just going to be able to walk it out, and that's the equalizer down as well. Not a good trade for Dig, as most of that was just absorbed, and Palafox has to flash away there from Gakgos, who's pushing him out, and now Gakgos can go for the flank. They could actually look for a fight here on the other side if they want, but for now, their eyes are on the dragon. It looks like Dignitas has made the tough call to just give up the soul.
FlyQuest with another big dub. The attempts at the flanks on the bottom side here for Palafox getting rebuffed again. This time by Gakgos, so he can just go into his split push again too. And honestly, he's not under a tremendous amount of threat at all. Either solo laner he can deal with very easily. He has his Hex Drinker still, but he's also so far ahead and so rich. He's going to take multiple members. So 4-1 split push, very easy for them. XU is looking for some sort of flank here, but even if they got that, they might just be dying.
Oh, Palafox tried to go for it. Insta McHale's from Ignar is not enough to save him, and Gakgos in the back line looking for the Ash. The encore connects, and FBI has sang his final song, knocked down by FlyQuest, as Palafox just kind of wandered through the team there. Didn't even look like he was going for damage. I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe a little bit of mispathing, but FlyQuest, I think they're going to claim the game right off that.
It's looking good. Gakgos leading the charge here for FlyQuest in game number 1.
FlyQuest marching on the Nexus here. It's Photon and XU trying to make something happen. The Cataclysm comes out, but just going to donate another kill to Gakgos. 5-0-4 on the Mbessa, looking so strong on the carries. The equalizer is going to get dropped just to pad the damage numbers a little bit, but FlyQuest will eventually knock this Nexus down and claim game 1 against Dignitas.
Really good stuff, especially from the FlyQuest solo laners. Griffin having a very good time himself too. Varus is still floating around. That could be an option. Any Varus combination.
He's going to be floating on the ban list, buddy.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Definitely.
I'm making a bold prediction. I could be wrong.
They have been focusing on the support parts of those duos. And the Nautilus and Karma still remaining banned here. But there are, a lot of combinations still left and available.
Yeah.
So let's see if they do go for it, because the Varus is still a prime one. Still
It totally
prime
is.
pick.
Yeah. I mean, Varus gets almost always permanent ban, but definitely does get through sometimes. It can be quite strong. You know, feels like the Anivia ban wants to set up for an early Rise pick. So it'll be interesting. You know, Dignitas has the option, if FlyQuest doesn't ban the Varus, to try to be like, okay, we're just going to trade with you, right? And that might be the situation we get now, where you're saying, okay, we'll do a Rise for Varus trade, and you just don't ban either.
Well, now you kind of are pushed even more too, because my personal favorite answer into it is the Sivir into the Varus, so it's even more pressure on Varus now. So if they don't ban it, I feel like Masu should grab it.
Yeah.
See, they didn't ban it in game number 1 either, so.
Am I crazy? I could have sworn they did. Yeah, they banned it the first 3. Pretty sure. We could double check. Doesn't matter. But it is going to be Varus. I'm a little bit surprised, you know, with the Sivir banned out, Dignitas, you know, even banning the Rise. I thought if they were going to give over the Varus, I thought they would trade for the Rise. So it'll be interesting to see what their plan is here. Obviously, they do take away the Rise. They take away some powerful picks, but they could have gotten a trade. And now I'm just kind of wondering what they are feeling is the even trade. Xin Zhao, pretty high priority, you know, is obviously a powerful pick. You know, you could go Nami Corki or something like that if you want to still play towards Enchanters, but instead it's going to be Jhin and Xin as the first 2 here to answer the Varus.
I mean, Xin is pretty high prio, but still it feels weird. Yeah, giving up quite a significant amount here. And Griffin loves Nasus jungle. You can't. Wither is very good versus Xin. But there's a lot of stuff you could still pick into it. Like, he could go the Nasus. He could go like Trundle or something if they wanted to also deny Dignitas possible tank picks up on the top side. He could still do his Shen jungle. It's definitely plenty of options there for Griffin. So
yeah,
he's not going to have to rush into anything. And you get your Varus and Bard here. It just feels like this is so good for FlyQuest so far. There's the Shen that we're mentioning.
Little Shungle?
It is flex pick, but with more probably priority towards Griffin. He does like the Shen Protoplasm Rush jungle, and I think it probably would be pretty good here. I mean, it works both too into the enemy AD carry that's already showing with Jhin.
Yeah.
And being able to block Jhin shots is always super high value because he only gets 4 of them. So it does. I mean, I'm already kind of leaning to the FlyQuest side, but we do get to see Owlstar here for Ignar. Again, a signature pick for him, and he had a huge performance on it last time.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It already feels like a really hard game for Jhin, though. I'm not going to lie. I mean, when I think about Bard is a champion that answers Jhin pretty well. You know, if you pop the curtain call, he can just temper fate you for free. You know, this is a heavily winning 2v2 with Varus Bard into Owlstar that has no level 1 at all. You know, you can look to get down there and gank, but still that can be difficult. And if it is Shen jungle, you can just kind of be power farming and respond to ganks with your ultimate, with the Stand United. And then, as you mentioned, the Spirit's Refuge, that parry zone, as long as you are timing that on the 4th shot from Jhin, Jhin is losing so much damage. It does feel like a difficult Jhin game, and people are already such Jhin haters that I feel like a lot of Dignitas fans are not going to be happy with the draft.
Yeah, okay, so I was wondering mostly about mid lane here as we're working through it in quad. With the defensive ban here, Palafox definitely does like to do some of these, you know, LeBlanc in a certain scenario for counter pick, and put a little bit of extra pressure there as mid lane is whittling down. Now it does feel pretty safe for Quad to go kind of like generic any control mids that he does favor at the moment, to just build a strong team fight for FlyQuest. You know, like a Victor style champion or something.
He likes Sway a lot as well, so
yeah, either of those definitely do work.
Yeah, Jhin has not been played that much so far this split. Only the 3 games, 1 and 2 so far. So not, you know, horrible stats or anything like that, but just in general, a lot of Jhin comps do struggle because they lack consistent damage. So you do want to see consistent damage somewhere on the Dignitas side. I do like the Gwen ban, especially if you're considering putting Shen top. That is a horrendous matchup for Shen and does give really high consistent damage. Azir, I think, fits the bill as a good pairing to me alongside the Jhin. If you want to go full dive, you can send it in that way, and Jhin can work with that. But Azir fixes your consistent damage issues, obviously. Jhin can be that more supportive style because you have a super high DPS mid laner, and I think that is a pretty good pairing.
Yeah, and you kind of need something with mobility to be able to deal with if Bard is trying to pressure mids and get some Bard roam timers. So you are going to need your own dash. So it goes with the Azir in the end. Let's see, though. Is it going to be a tank game for Gakkos? They're already going over a couple of the options here, so now we get to put your stats to the test, sir.
1-1. We're going to game 3. All right.
But the control mage, it has to be a big damage control mage here for Quad, especially, you know, the Victor or the Hui that we were talking about, because you need some extra carry for these team fights.
Yeah.
Shen is good like base damage and when you're getting Q full throughs, but is basically the jungle build is mostly tank, as is of course the Scion here. So, all right, we are gonna get the big Hui damage and pretty good range into the Azir as well. So should be able to farm pretty comfortably. You have Bard roaming around. You have Shen Stand Uniteds as well to cover.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see, you know, obviously we just kind of default to assuming that it is Poke Varus. It is played the vast majority of the time, but around 30% of pro games are on hit Varus, so that is always a possibility if they feel like, hey, we need more damage. It's going to be Gnar on the other side for Photon. I actually kind of quite like this this matchup for Scion. I feel like it's pretty easy to stabilize in this matchup and then just kind of become that brick wall. But of course, you won't have that individual agency that we were talking about with Gakkos, and we'll see if FlyQuest can get their first win of this split with Gakkos on a tank. The Shen jungle, going to be really fun. Not something we see much in the LCS at all. Of course, you know, he did play it in an EWC qualifier, so it has been out there. You know, it's not necessarily the biggest shock, but it is a pick that I think has been kind of going under the radar for a while. It's been relatively strong in jungle for solo queue for a while.
I definitely agree. Like and it's been fun for a long time.
Yeah.
What really got it on the radar was Xpetu. He's originally a top lane Shen main, and then he was like, all right, I'm gonna do some jungle stuff for now. And he's famous for his like coachless website for builds, and really was pushing the super efficient, you know, like support items, protoplasm. Rush is very, very good, very valuable, and that is what Griffin jumped on. He jumped on it during that hype.
Yep.
Since then, you know, getting on the radar that way did get it nerfed a little bit, but it wasn't very big nerfs. Still very, very viable and very good.
Yeah.
And Griffin really has been liking some of those more fringe jungle picks in addition to the main champions like Pantheon and Xin and the like. So definitely going to look for it here. Protoplasm, Rush, and then should be a stable, or at least if FlyQuest get their way, some pretty stable early game here.
And when you're looking at the top 4 regions and major international events, not a single Shen jungle game so far in this split. There are 8 games of it played, you know, in tier 2 regions and ERLs and things like that. Has been getting some play, but you know, first time it is getting played this split in a major region. So yes, people know about the pick, but still had not really been getting that pro interest in those top regions. So it'll be fun to see how it actually performs.
Definitely will be. Again, early stages, probably just full clear down to the bottom side. Unless there's like some aggressive trading down here and we get some summoner spells early. Nice little electrocute trade proc right here onto FBI. That one's going to sting.
Yeah, and speaking of FBI, his coaches were talking on pros, and they had a lot of positive stuff to say about him.
They did. I actually loved that coaches segment because we got so much insight since all of the coaches on that episode worked with FBI. And as you can see here, a lot of their praise were about FBI's growth over the years, basically as a person and a player, you know, being very stable and growing emotionally, like leading some reviews and stuff as well, and they're going to need that after a loss like the previous game in order to remain stable. A lot of these coaches were crediting him for, you know, like some success on energy and some success, you know, in team reviews and really being able to grow over the years.
Masu in a bit of trouble here, has to flash, and they spent the heal. He is playing teleport, so we'll be able to come back, but really nicely done by FBI and Ignar. They're actually winning the 2v2 at 2 minutes into the game in a matchup that I think is horrible for them. Masu and Cryogen just kind of unable to hit a lot of their skill shots, and now Griffin going to get jumped on here. Has to try to taunt out to safety. XU does push him out of his own jungle, cleared the top 3 camps, and meets him at his own red. And now Griffin trying to see if he can stay around and at least get the Krugs here. But XU will finish off this red, and he's holding onto his smite because he wants to take the Krugs too, and it looks like he's going to get it.
Really, really good punishment on the Shen jungle. Again, the nerf after the
They're going to dive. They're going to try to set this up. Griffin has to cancel the base. He's going to come over here. Good binding initially,
Prep.
but Masu has no flash. He's going to get burst down. It will be a trade kill back. Griffin going to get the Krugs, a little bit of a consolation prize, but FBI claims the first blood. Masu loses some of the CS there and dies, put way down already on this Varus, and his only buy is tier refillable. FBI is going to have a much better purchase.
Really good attack here from XU. Comes in, counter jungles the Shen. The nerfs after Shen got popular was 20 damage early off the level 1 Q, trying to slow down its jungle clear, and it allows XU to get there in time, plenty of time to contest and push him off the red. And then he's like, you know what? I'm not going to finish this Krug camp. I'm going to take your Eddie carry camp and just dive Masu. Deny some of those minions as well, in addition to getting the first blood bonus money into Jhin. Ooh. Into FBI.
And look at that buy. As this is going to be a nice setup here. Cryogen going to pop the magical journey, try to get back, hits the double binding. He does have his flash, does have to use it, but he's going to be knocked up, and there's no way out now. The blast cone taken away. XU gets a kill, beautifully set up by Ignar. And just last week, he was playing the Alistar in this Alistar Sentinel lane and looking incredible on it. And again, here he is, just starting things off in a losing matchup, finding plays and setting up XU for success.
I mean, Ignar is a melee support specialist for sure. He was playing Fervor Leona when a lot of these players were still in diapers, honestly. And, you know, taking it to T1. So really fun to see him back on Alistar. Obviously, last week, like you're talking about, they did get that win over Team Liquid, who are looking very strong right now.
Yep.
You know, with his Alistar and with FBI's Senna. But again, this bottom lane that we've been hyping up for Dignitas. They super showed up last week in that Team Liquid game, and they are definitely showing up here. In addition to XU, by the way, who gets flamed all the time, but is on a very good Xin game here with the early invid and then the follow-up playing with Ignar.
And I mean, just look at the buys off of that early play, right? It's a tier versus a serrated Dirk, so that is rough. And Masu Cryogen, you know, have been a really good 2v2 in this league. We can see Gakos in a lot of trouble. He is very far up. Photon's just going to flash over and then block the charge. The flash is there, but Photon doesn't hit the boomerang, barely misses on Gakos. That slow might have been enough to get him a kill.
All right, flash for flash plus ult trades here though, and gonna use the shield to try and get this.
Yeah, that was making me a little bit nervous there for Gakos. And now XU down towards that bot side, and there is the root setting him up. Cryogen in trouble here once again. Griffin in the area, but I don't think it matters. Another kill on the bot side. Ignar is on fire. He's just setting them up time and time again.
Yep, camp bottom lane. If you've got the Alistar playmaking, then you should use it. XU camping bottom side, Ignar creating the plays for the team. They get the pick, they get the objective afterwards as well. And Dignitas, they're always good for one, Azael. At least one in a series. Starting out with a tremendous early game in this one.
They are really looking strong here. And we'll see if FlyQuest can find a way to battle back. The top side of the map still doing a-okay. But that bot side becoming a bit of a problem here. You know, FBI out to a 600 gold lead, XU as well, up to about a 600 gold lead for himself. And really just kind of outpacing the clear speed of Griffin. And that has led to a lot of these issues that led to the initial invade, that pushed him back, that led to the dive. And then just moving around the map, once they had won that bot side 2v2, Ignar just gets out there and is making plays. Yeah,
when your team is getting spam ganked and camped on the bottom side by enemy jungle, and you look up and that your jungle has the same CS,
it's a bad feeling.
Sometimes people type.
They type.
Sometimes they type when that happens.
They type, Griffin, it's okay, we're scaling, team. We've got this in the late game.
That's exactly what they type. Both of them are level 6, but bottom side. So I want to see what happens with this invade. And Griffin leaves behind just the ward.
Yeah, Griffin going to be able to shadow dash over the wall. Photon was moving. Won't be able to get in range. And now the bot side 2v2. Of course, the stand united, something you have to really watch out for. You don't want to overcommit on a dive and then have Shen appear and turn around that fight. But, you know, if you can play it right and you can disengage, as the Spiraling Spear misses, on those early Shen ults, it is so punishing for the Shen because the cooldown is just forever. As the Chains of Corruption going to get popped, Ignar is not 6 and he may have gone too far. Slowed down and killed by Masu. He really went deep there. Had the early Swifty boots. Thought maybe with enough move speed he could just run out. And he popped the Ignite for the Nimbus, but even that didn't get him out. And he was not 6 and had no defensive stats.
Yeah, just as we're hyping him up. A little bit too much hype for the bottom lane, maybe. Yeah, and Varus was already 6, so he knew Varus had access to ultimate. It was a little bit low on that.
Got a little bit bored. You know, you could hear the circus music on that one.
Or just hyped up, you know. You're making plays, getting camps. Also, sometimes supports will do this where, especially if they're already getting their jungler to camp their own lane, they're like, well, I'm just going to keep making some more plays and bluff that my jungler is here. Sometimes. I don't know if that was the case here. We're kind of throwing some stuff out.
Sometimes you just get bored, you know?
But also
we've been there. You're playing a melee support into a ranged champion. As Photon in some trouble, Gakkos had used his ultimate, took a big trade of ultimates, but leaves Photon a lot lower on health. Gakkos down a little bit of gold, but doing well.
So I'm going back right now, scrubbing all the way back. What it was is that Masu had gone so far out of vision all the way back to his own tower. He thought that he based, and it was just the Bard there, and he thought, oh, it's been so long that if Masu is here, then he's trolling his timing, and he like canceled, and it's going to be a bad timing for him. So that was the thought process. It wasn't the boredom.
Didn't work out for him, unfortunately. Gakkos 1-6 on the Sion. You know, they are winless with him on tank so far this year. But you also have to take into consideration Quad is 9-1 on the Hwei. So which is more powerful?
When numbers fight each other.
Exactly. The curse of the Gakkos tanks or the blessing of the Quad carries here. Griffin shadow dashing out. Might be forced flash, but looks like he's just going to be fine. Walk this one out as no one able to get in range. And he did finish off all 3 grubs, which, to be honest, is kind of a rarity. Usually you just get 1 or 2 and you have to get out of there.
Yeah, I want to continue with your numbers fighting here because I feel like we could make some very good emotes based off these. Gakkos tank and Quad bless. I feel these if we got chat to like spam the 2 like, combative
which is more
emotes,
powerful.
Yeah, which is more powerful. Just because I feel like Gakkos tank, just like his name, real like. It evokes an image, right? Meanwhile, same thing for Quad Bless here. So I don't know. What do you think is stronger? Is it Gakkos tank tearing him down, or is it Quad Bless? I'm feeling a Quad Bless here.
I'm feeling the Bless. Oh, nice. Tempered Fate there. Going to be able to lock up Palafox, and now he's going to get rooted. The Emperor's Divide comes down, doesn't land onto Quad. They don't have anywhere close to the damage to finish him off, though, so just going to be able to get the Emperor's Divide there out of Palafox. I don't think Gakkos is like so bad on tanks or anything. It's just something I noticed when looking at stats and thought it was kind of interesting. You know, it's more that he really excels on the carries and maybe FlyQuest isn't as comfortable playing around, but Quad definitely a very good Hwei player, and I think Hwei can be incredibly strong. It's just more hit or miss. I always kind of put it more in the bracket of like Vel'Koz than Azir, where, you know, if you hit everything, it's super powerful, but you can also kind of do nothing in a fight pretty easily.
Yeah, and if you have time to hit as well, which might be hard if you've got Ignar flanking around on Alistar creating chaos.
That's why we got the Gakkos tank, buddy.
Exactly. Gakkos tank will mark them and keep them out. Dignitas, though, they might not leave it up to any of the FlyQuest members as Dragon stacking continues. Griffin wants to steal it.
Has no smite yet, and it didn't have that smite as it went down. Just came up afterwards. They're going to see if they can try to chase down Xu, though. On the side, Barra starting to poke away. Palafox getting some good damage down onto Quad as Xu with that Crescent Guard absorbing everything. Griffin has to run for it. Will he be able to get out? Flashes over the wall. The Curtain Call not going to connect onto him. Chains of Corruption lands onto Xu as Masu knocks him down and in the pit. Cryogen going to pay the price. He falls, but Palafox incredibly low. He's going to get hit down surely by Gakkos, but he can't catch up. Masu trying to come in around the side and finish him off. Photon is going to go Mega and gets the Gnar into the wall, knocks one down. Quad trying to trade it back. Great flash back, and is going to be able to get him with the Crushing Maw. Gakkos, Masu, the rest of the team chasing in. Flash forward as Masu gets another and goes on a killing spree. And just like that, the FlyQuest bot lane are right back in business.
Ooh, Masu with the Varus ultimate over the wall. The Dragon Pit was able to lock down Xu, and they took out enemy jungle there, trying to wrap around and get some extra kills after the objective was taken. Turning it to be a lot more competitive here. Chopping down on some of the Dignitas lead that they had built up, but here's another look at it. Let's see, so yeah, sometimes the observer icons here for Smite aren't super reliable, so yeah, maybe it was a couple more seconds on that one. and didn't quite have it either. So XU does get that, but then look at the chase. So they go in on him. XU does get his ulti off. He actually is trying to W flash Cryojin, it looked like, but he kind of split both members. He didn't hit the W flash on either of them. And then it's Masu over the wall, able to lock him down with the ulti. Palafox having to flash out from the other side too after they got that kill. Meant that FlyQuest do, chase down a little bit of extra gold. Of course, it cost Masu his flash to get this extra smite onto FBI, but quite good for them at least. Photon, though, doing some work and creating some space, almost enough space for FBI to run away, but flash was there.
Yep, just barely Photon is able to get that Mega off as Spiraling Bear going to get popped onto Palafox. Will shift back and shrugs off most of that trade. You can see XU and Ignar are moving in to try to get behind him. So there's this scrap on the bot side, but I think the top side is where the action could actually be. Palafox, though, taking a lot of damage. He's tried to push in this wave from Quad. Cryojin there to defend him. So it's much ado about nothing on that top side as Quad will just clear out the wave. This is actually a play potentially on Palafox. Nice reaction timing from him, though. Shifts out of that Tempered Fate as he was recalling on a ward.
All right, it's going to be pushed in both mid and top then for FlyQuest. Going to get control of the map for a while where we have double resets. There's no teleport on Palafox, so that's just good money for Quad. Hui going to get some turret plate money up here off of that. And mid lane, they got kind of equalized there as well. So honestly, if they're able to stabilize from here, FlyQuest have some pretty competitive chances as far as the next team fight that they do get set up. But the work that Dignitas have been doing, setting up nicely for another dragon stacking, it's a little less than 2 minutes until the next one. And if they can get there early, Ignar loves using this Fog of War, wrap around to some of these crazy flank angles.
Masu going to get pinched on both sides. In comes Ignar, going to look to knock him back as he gets rooted up by FBI. He's got nowhere to go. The Stand United does not even complete, as that is the first one of the game, I believe, from Griffin, and not going to be enough to keep him safe. They just pinched him on both sides.
Yeah, nice Hex Flash from Ignar. We have the Scion ult.
Gakko's coming in, crashing into the wall, though, as XU is running for the hills. Gakko's taking a ton of damage from Azir on the side. Quad and Cryojin going to try to keep him safe, but he gets knocked back by the Emperor's Divide. They're turning around on a Palafox. He gets stunned into his own wall and knocked back for a trade kill. That one likely not worth it there for Palafox, but in the meanwhile, Photon is getting paid on the bot side. Look how far ahead he is getting on this Gnar.
Yeah, that allows Gnar the split push. I definitely don't think that was worth as far as going into to ult back the Scion. Maybe they could just keep hitting the Scion and push him out. They already had advantage there with the extra one and some pretty good positioning. If you just keep your range and keep on hitting, a lot safer. But sacrificing one extra there, giving back a kill, still is going to be very profitable for Dignitas. They had already won so much, and as you say, got to push the other lane as well. So that puts up the gold lead to 2K, but could even be better.
Exactly. I mean, especially when Azir, you're looking at the itemization for Gakkos, right? It's all armor. So Azir is the one that's going to be pumping the damage. You want to keep yourself safe.
So I feel like we discussed this a lot, but a lot of times there's so many, like Azir players looking for the angle to go in and make a play when you could just auto attack with soldiers.
Just right click them.
Sometimes just be a little more calm, just auto attack. Even if they don't finish off the full kill. I mean, I think they did have a lot of CC still for Scion. He was locked down for a while, but regardless, they're still in a very good spot for Dignitas.
TP coming in from Photon. The Mega Gnar about to expire here, so timing not great. And FlyQuest will get pushed in mid lane. Photon gonna have that Gnar bar slowly charging back up, but it is on cooldown for a while. He can't get any rage, and this is allowing FlyQuest to get priority in that river. Doesn't look like they want to start it up just yet. I mean, Shen not great at actually soloing out those objectives, so they're just going to keep fighting in mid lane, and now Photon slowly charging up that bar, might be ready for the fight.
All right, they do have vision set up, but Ignar coming front. Ignar's got his teleport swapped.
And look at those deep wards. There's all kinds of pings on those deep wards. He's potentially thinking about it, but instead we'll just TP the team.
Okay. Honestly, if they can get the front to back here, Scion ultimate from bottom side
XU gonna go in. There's the Crescent Guard getting popped. Masu flashes back over the wall. Curtain Call gonna get popped here. Squad is taking a lot of damage on the side, but in comes Gakkos. And now the knockup is straight into Dignitas. Crashes into them. The Tempered Fate and the route to follow it up there onto Photon. And now Photon is into a bounce house. He is getting knocked up, knocked down. Palafox forced to retreat on the side as the Magical Journey from Cryogen here, bringing Gakkos over to try to chase after him. They chunk out Palafox, and that should be the Dragon, as this time, Gakkos has the drifting skill to find a great engage.
It's Gakkos' tank, baby, all the way to the bank, and they're able to win that one. That was beautiful, right down the river, hits them both on the counter engage, and it is the attempt on Masu's life, but so Masu's gonna flash to create the extra distance after XU goes in. XU went for a flash play to try and like Zinsec them a little bit, but it didn't really Zinsec anybody.
His mark is on Masu, so you can't knock him back.
His quad went just lateral in the lane, so he moved quad, but it didn't move him in any beneficial direction.
No, I mean, almost.
And then you don't have flash for the side ult. So.
Yeah, like the way he flashed looked like he was trying to knock back Masu, but your mark is on him. Whoever you hit last.
He already W'd and charged him.
Yeah, so I don't really understand it. I mean, he didn't have the angle to get quad. The angle was right to knock back Masu, but you would have had to try to charge quad and then flash behind Masu to make that happen. So he just got way too hyphy, and then Gakkos with a great punish. XU goes down in a hurry. Gakkos kind of crashed into the wall on that earlier play in the topside river, but this time he does nail him, and now quad with a pretty significant lead, but it is still Dignitas up over 1K, and with the Dragon advantage for now, as it is a 1K lead for both Photon and FBI. So these side lanes for Dignitas still very strong.
I mean, I don't feel like you ever get a better answer to your side lanes either. You know, it's Azir and Gnar. Those ones are those are going to be hard for you to deal with either way for FlyQuest. As the game goes on, your sides are just going to be constantly collapsing in on you, and you just have to collect basically with Sion and Hui at the moment. At least you have a Bard on your side to make plays.
Tempered Fate comes down. Can they actually set this up? I think it's just going to be a play for a chunk. The Spiraling Spear is thrown out. Palafox going to be put very low. Ignar up here to peel, but Palafox will be sent back to base. Has the teleport, and it is Ignar having to pop his ultimate as well to stay safe.
We do always mention Bard, you know, trying to figure out the side lanes here for them, and that is huge value. So much damage onto Palafox. They push him completely out of lane again. Teleports towards mid, though.
Yeah, Griffin could be in a little bit of trouble as Palafox comes in. Nice flash, though, from Griffin. Gets over the Emperor's Divide. Masu using the Herald just to try to escape here. Does stay safe, but it means the Herald's not going to get a charge mid lane, so that is going to be spent for just the escape there for Masu, kind of acting as an extra summoner.
Yeah, good moves from FlyQuest, and Cryogen on the move with the Bard. All of that resulted in they get the extra teleport out of the Azir. They got the top tower fully into Quad's pockets as far as all that money and finishing off the turret plates and taking that one down. So continuing to funnel this Hui, the big carry here for the team. Quad is going to have to pull a lot of the damage. Flank from Photon does get scouted.
Oh, that Magical Journey was not the angle that Cryogen wanted. Does sidestep the snare, and the Gnar actually misses on the ult, doesn't get him in the wall. They do get out the ult from Griffin, though, so the Stand United spent. Griffin clearly wants something from it. Not going to get it. These Shen ults have not been very effective, but now in comes Gakkos looking for FBI, will force the flash. So a couple trades, not able to actually commit to a kill, but both teams forcing some big summoners and cooldowns.
We've all been there, you know? Sometimes some magical journeys will just end up a little short, okay?
Not that magical.
The angle can be tricky sometimes when you're doing it quickly.
On a skinny wall, it's actually quite hard.
Yeah, when you're doing it, especially when you're doing it fast, gotta get out of there. So it does require a few more resources, but still looks fine for them.
Yeah, Photon has that Mega Gnar bar charged up. Last game, I didn't feel like Ocean Soul was a great soul. This game, it feels quite strong for either team, honestly. You have a bit of kind of like lower consistent damage teams, and you have some tanky members on both sides. You know, you have the Alistar, you have the Gnar, you have the Xin on one side, and on the other you got this Shen Sion frontline. I do think Gakkos needs some MR, though. He has not purchased any MR at all. The person who's going to be killing you in the 5v5s is Azir. You know, yes, Gnar is a problem in the side lanes that you have to itemize somewhat for, but I don't think building not even a null magic mantle at this point in the game is going to be correct, because Palafox is going to be the one that is dealing with you in those 5v5s. Jhin and Gnar, it's probably not a team fight where they're focusing down the Sion that they're going to be able to win.
Yeah, I assume after Steel Caps,
Surely.
Next thing is surely going to be MR.
One null magic mantle. I beg of you. We'll see if he does grab it. How are you a fan of these rocket belt builds?
Honestly, I am because wait.
Oh, nice knock back. Quad gonna have to flash away as he's tanking that tower up. Palafox getting a bunch of damage down. In comes Gakkos. Palafox flashes to the side, but gets bound into the wall, and Gakkos makes him pay for it. Photon and Exu, though, chasing in. Quad has to be careful. The curtains are gonna get called here. Quad is out of range, and Tempered Fate is gonna interrupt it, and Sion is just tanking up so much damage. There's no Azir to get the damage done. Exu knocked up. Gakkos walking forward. Not a care in the world as Wei comes back from the base. FlyQuest moving forward. Ignar trying to find a combo here. Does get chipped low. Gakkos still moving in. Is Cryogen going to pop the Magical Journey? Exu is low. Has to run for it. Dignitas pushed back. It looked like it was going to be a good play here from Palafox, but FlyQuest survive and are going to win the Dragon and the tower off of that team fight.
He really wanted to finish off Quad there. He really wanted to finish off the way. Flashes forward, but honestly, I say Giga Brain Gakkos, so you don't have to build MR if the Azir is dead.
True.
See? The Azir flash forward, they kill him off.
There's our null magic mantle. So he's got the Azir itemization secured.
For next time, nicely done there for FlyQuest, and Quad does escape with his life just barely. Then he got time for his shield as well afterwards, and now 2 Ocean Dragons, just the regular ones for themselves. Pretty nice control up here around Baron Vision as well, with the Scuttle Grab about to pop. All's going quite nicely for them.
Yeah, it really is. The Shen has been all right, just kind of quietly involved in some of these fights, not making too big of an impact, honestly. They haven't had an effective Stand United just yet, but hey, Shen is still a tank. He's still creating space. The parry zone is very annoying for FBI when timed correctly. And always going to make side lanes a little bit more difficult, because we talked about how Nara and Azir are obviously stronger in the side lanes, but you always have to worry about a potential Stand United. You have to worry about the Bard showing up out of nowhere, as we will see FlyQuest just heavily playing for Vision right now around this Baron, but Dignitas trying to keep some eyes in the area so they're not surprised.
Definitely don't want any sort of surprise ults coming through to burn your flash. Cryogen is kind of spying around, hanging on Fog of War, and ooh, he's looking for them.
Yeah, did tickle his toes there with the Tempered Fate, but not quite getting him. Just a little tickle, you know? Couldn't quite grab on.
And FBI was giggling.
Yeah.
Very close, because FBI didn't have his flash, so yeah. he had to wiggle those toes to get out of there. Very close. Swing and a miss.
Yeah. Couldn't quite grab him, you know? Oh, that
couldn't
sucks.
quite again. We've had a game of a lot of almost.
We have.
I feel like
that was a well-timed ult there from Masu, and now
yeah.
Photon is walking in on the side. That Chains of Corruption completely stopped Ignar's ult in its tracks. Exu scrapping with Ignar, but getting the worst of it. He is just getting poked down by Quad and Masu. This FlyQuest team is becoming pretty annoying, as they have a lot of long-range damage. And if you are not clean on your engages, it is tough to fight against the comp that they have built.
Definitely agree, and this mid tower still under siege. It's got crystals built up. They can't finish it though. FBI is able to delete the wave, so nobody able to pop the crystals, and it stands for now.
And this long-range artillery, they're just constantly dodging. It's like a bullet hell against Quad and Masu. Piercing arrows and these artillery fire shots coming down constantly. Again, connecting in onto FBI. They finally knock down the tower this time. Palafox pushing up topside, but doesn't have the confidence to stay around and get that tower, and knows that they could actually look for a play up onto him.
I mean, this Dignitas team, it kind of revolves around which of our engagers have flash, because you really need it to make the engage onto this range advantage that the Quay and the Varus have. So it's got to be, a big Ignar flank or Fog of War play. Currently, he's on Hex Flash, which requires way more setup. Obviously, is not as useful, but Palafox can try and make a big move when he has his. It's just very dangerous, because then you lose for a meantime, like one of your biggest DPSers, and then, of course, Photon is the other option.
Yep, going to be trying to find those angles. I mean, Ignar did find some really good engages early on, but the last, 15 minutes or something, it feels like it's been a lot more difficult for them to find.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the Varus ult on the last one.
It was really nice. Ooh, Exu could be in some trouble. Going to get taunted up. Ignar over the wall here, looking to threaten. They are going to knock Griffin in, but no damage is really around, so not much going to happen from this. Photon now coming in is the binding into the taunt. The CC onto Exu is causing some problems. The Tempered Fate going to get sidestepped, but he is rooted up there by Masu. And has to pop the Crescent Guard and the Flash to get out. So that's going to be problematic here, as they are just going to head straight on over to Baron, it looks like, and try to force the issue, make Exu fight without his cooldowns.
Yeah, no Crescent Guard is very, very difficult for Xin to operate now. They do have the Flash for Azir and for Gnar, though.
Look at that chunk onto Ignar, loses about 30% of his health. Exu is healthy, and this Baron is going down so slow. This is the lethality Varus trying to do it, so FlyQuest, I think they need to turn. Photon is just getting free damage down on the Gatkos. Griffin was still tanking up the Baron, and FlyQuest will be pushed back. I mean, their Baron is pitifully slow with just that Varus and Shen damage, so that was not really, I think, the play that they were looking to draw up, and now Dignitas, as a result, has a bit of prio here around mid, so we'll see if they want to try to look for a play. Palafox trying to threaten on the side as Ignar is rushing forward here, and they will be able to knock down the tower as Ignar just getting this damage rained down on him constantly from Quad, who probably has the death cap on this base, and I think Quad has just been having a great game.
Yeah, he certainly has. He needed to be the big carry, and he has. Death cap completed, 3-item power spike, just in time for the dragon fight. All right, Quad is walking over through the jungle right now. Dignitas are trying to burn down the Baron, though.
Ignar channeling the Hex Flash. Is he going to go for it? Photon on the side has the Mega Gnar charged up. Ignar is very low, and now Palafox tanking some damage. Photon getting marked here by Gatkos as they're going to go in. The Crescent Guard gets popped. The Spiraling Spear as well. Masu trying to retreat back is on the side. Ignar and Photon are battling against Cryogen. Cryogen trying to get out of there. He survives for now as the Dragon is taken by Dignitas. The Tempered Fate is going to whiff. Gatkos is in some trouble on the side here. Pops his ultimate to try to buffer the CC, but Exu is chasing in. He's in on the Quad. The shields are massive on Quad, but they won't quite be enough as FBI running from Gatkos and Griffin. Palafox pumping the damage out, shifts in onto Masu. Masu stands and fights, but can't finish him off. Griffin, taunt, flash, gets the kill back. And on the side, it's FBI and Ignar. A beautiful binding is going to get cleansed there by FBI, but he just has no damage. His 4-shot can't even break the shield from Gatkos, and he is getting chased. He's got the flash. He may have to use it. Cryogen going to look. He flashes forward, gets bound up. It's going to be a trade, but it's just a support for the life here of FBI, who eventually will get knocked down. Jhin can do nothing against the FlyQuest front line. It is a scrappy fight. Dignitas get the dragon, but FlyQuest win out in the 5v5.
What a fight. Let's take a look at our Pagoda moment here. This one gets crazy. Quad is walking over. He's huge on the way. But look at the top side. Photon about to go Mega. Cryogen and Gatkos both go for him. Wow, you have the secondary engage. Exu right in onto Masu and Quad. Pops his ultimate with the ult from the Jhin coming over the top. So much damage on the top side. Gets pumped into Photon here, though, when Masu and Quad rotated over, that he's now low. So on the retreat, Gatkos is able to finish him off with the help of Cryogen's binding. Then they get the re-engage here. Despite the Shen shield as well as his own shield going down, Quad does get shut down as FBI got to move up. And then Palafox goes in, finishes off Masu. Flash from Griffin, able to find that taunt at least on him at the very least. And then, you know, finally, they do have the numbers advantage. And in the end, like, using your flash to go for the kill trade
Not worth.
onto just a Bard there definitely doesn't seem like it was worth. I think Griffin actually didn't even have to flash, so kind of nice for, oh no, actually this thing is kind of a little bit off.
I will say, though, one advantage for Dig, Ignar now has his flash. No flashes on the FlyQuest carries, so he could potentially find a big play. If you can flash in, get a combo into an Emperor's Divide or a big Gnar wall, you know, stun or something like that, you know, maybe they could win out on this next fight. And Dignitas are at soul point, so even though FlyQuest went out of the fight, are slightly up in gold, Dignitas, realistically, they're one good dragon fight away from potentially securing this game. Ocean Soul is going to be so hard for FlyQuest to deal with because they're so dependent upon their poke.
Yeah, and Dig started this game out performing so well. Let's see if they can actually do it. Dragon Soul, oh man, time flies. It's only 2 minutes on the next dragon already. We're about to have a banger in the side lane, maybe.
Photon going to be able to dodge out on that. Masu getting down here, but Masu struggling to get in range, and Dignitas are just starting up the Baron. You can see FlyQuest trying to get up there and respond to the other side. The Chains Corruption going to get flashed away from, so Photon absorbs the pressure. He's TPing up there, and they're going to secure the Baron here in the face of the 3 FlyQuest members. Masu is trying to get up here. They have the double TP, so he does arrive. Griffin forced back, has the Shadow Dash defensively. The Redemption comes down. Cryogen's in trouble. Magical Journey out to safety. Photon on the side is trying to chase in on the back line as Gakkos is just sectioned off. He is slowly getting whittled down on, but look at the fear from Quad. Palafox tries to go for the big play, but he is terrified by Quad and taken down. The Tempered Fake just clips FBI, and this could be the fight that breaks the back of Dignitas. What a beautiful play there from Quad as Gakkos wants even more. The Stand United to rise. Photon falls. XU set running. Gakkos going to be able to tank up the tower as FlyQuest has a massive play from their mid laner.
Quad reads them like a book, and FlyQuest stuffed the play completely. Even with the Baron buff, Dignitas are losing everything. Their base doesn't stand a chance.
They're just marching in here. They do have the Baron buff, but it's only their jungler and support to try to defend. FlyQuest looks like they're just going to take the inhibitor and back off. They want to try to play for this next dragon, not confident that they could end before Palafox respawns, and I think they are correct here. So Dignitas will hang on, but that was a big-time play there from Quad.
You have to play these fights slowly. With the way that these two teams are built, it's not about the huge, very quick plays. It's about keeping your battle lines in. Let's take another look. So, really good Baron from Dignitas. Great Baron. But now, when they look for the turn, let's take a look. They get a lot of free damage in the Griffin. Gakkos teleports in with a huge shield, though, with his role completed. Everybody gets out of range except for Gakkos from the Jhin ult. But here, look at it. You're looking for a little bit too quick. Quad, boom, nails Palafox just at the last second. And then you get Fear chained into taunts, and he's completely stuffed the play.
I mean, he just wants it too bad. We're right back to live, and it's a fight breaking out. Photon might get burst down. He's trying to get into the Mega. The bar is almost fully charged up. Gakkos peeling on the side, and Quad makes no mistake. Knocks him down. The Tempered Fate won't find any as Gakkos charges in. It's a double knock up on the front line, and they get crushing Maud together as Griffin is delivered to the back line. FBI is in trouble. Dignitas are in shambles. It's Palafox trying to knock down Masu, but he doesn't have the juice to do it. XU is back with the GA. It's a taunt, it's a flash, it's a knockdown Azir. XU in a 1v3, trying to survive, taunted up, knocked up. Cryogen running, trying to stay alive. They will eventually be able to knock him down. And it is an open mid lane here. FlyQuest will push. They don't have their carries, though. The respawn timers are quite long. I don't know if they can end the game. Photon's up in 15.
Yeah, as is Ignar. I think they could just make time because only tanks are left up for FlyQuest. Still, it's another banger of a team fight, and it's going to result in the third dragon for FlyQuest. We're going the distance.
I mean, we just jumped straight out of the replay into another fight, but I'm still kind of like focused on that replay where I feel like Gakkos was sectioned from the whole team.
Yeah, you have time.
Could just hit the Scion and you win the fight for free.
It's another instance of you have time. And again, you got to play these fights a little more slowly with how they're constructed here. But take a look at this one. Ignar popped the ultimate, tried to walk forward. It was another good ult from Masu, though. You saw the Varus ult on the side on Photon. Completely denied that engage. And then Quad hits the snipe. So beautiful stuff from the FlyQuest carries there to basically take out Photon right at the beginning. And then you have the chase attempt through where it does get dicey. Because with Gakkos and Griffin so deep onto FBI, Palafox does go into the back line and flashes as well to at least take out the two carries here. They get Quad, and he gets low enough Masu here that XU can finish him off. So at the very least, they do take out the enemy two enemy carries so they don't lose on it. But still losing more and more ground each one.
I thought Masu played that fight brilliantly. I mean, you called out the Chains of Corruption. He also, as they pop that Stand United in the backline of FBI, he sidesteps the taunt, and Masu nails him with a piercing arrow, puts him incredibly low, and is able to flash the Emperor's Divide at the same time. So really playing these fights out well. Masu definitely a standout here.
The only one that can do damage to Sion is you, Christian.
Yeah. I will try to hit.
That's what we're talking about. I mean, especially, you know, if you're flying in, you're trying to go for a trade, well, it's like FBI said, no one can hurt Scion except the Azir, but if the Azir is always flying into the back line, he's not there to do the damage.
I also like that this comms, updates our story that we're talking about FBI's growth, that we showed all of the quotes from his former coaches that were on that coaches podcast. FBI is very calm, you know, just calling out the win cons here. Hey, just a friendly reminder, you're the one that's going to have to work through this Scion because he's stacked a bunch of armor from the early game, so it's going to be pretty hard for me and Photon.
Ooh, XU taking a ton of damage here. Has to prop the Crescent Guard defensively. Will be able to walk it out, but Dignitas, they are one fight away from losing this game. They've got to stay locked in. The series would end if they do fall in this second game. FlyQuest now 3 dragons apiece. Titanic Hydra has been completed for Gakko, so now the Scion actually has some damage, so you can't just ignore him. If he runs past the Azir in onto this Jhin, he is going to be a problem. And this is Masu on his carry stats. Has been very good for FlyQuest. We obviously highlighted them in their 2v2 quite a lot so far this split, but really showing up in a big way in that last team fight on the Varus, and I think he's been a big part of the success when FlyQuest is having it. Yeah,
that, his gameplay as well as his leadership, we keep getting interviews and talking about him wanting to take on a bigger leadership role because he is one of the elder members on the team despite being so young.
He's like 20.
He's a well, veteran maybe. But
that's elder when you're surrounded by, you know, Griffin and Cryogen and whatever.
All the Gen Z.
Yeah. They have a young team.
They certainly are. The youngest, in fact, that we do have, and the youngest team out here looking at 2-0 over Dignitas. But this game's still very, very close. The gold lead is not the biggest of deals. It's about these epic objectives. Our next team fight could just break everything. We've got Dragon Soul coming very, very soon in just under 2 minutes here, and with Baron on the map at the same time. And that can wrap up the entire thing. We're almost 40 minutes in. It's all about the big plays now. Death cap completed for Palafox. You gotta be the one to be able to work through the damage.
Yeah, that is a huge buy for Palafox. He was just sitting on the 1 NLR and now has that full buy as Photon takes a ton of damage. That was just the Titanic proc off of a ward. Did about 20% of Photon's health there. Gakko's very tanky, level 19. XU took so much free damage there from Masu as he tried to get in. Griffin slowly working down this Baron, but that is going to take forever for him to kill. XU is aware of it, has the GA back up and available, but look at Dignitas, they're just constantly getting poked as they try to walk in. Ignar is incredibly low now, 20%, sidesteps that damage coming in from Quad, but he's going to have to potentially go back from base, and now the Baron is in danger of just getting knocked down. Dignitas can't even find a way in. Griffin's still just tanking this up. FlyQuest pushed them back, beautifully secured.
And that's just a full tank Shen and his pet. Full tank Shen and his little pet here, while the rest of the team
slow and steady wins the race.
Is doing poke damage. Gets the job done, and honestly, that was faster and steady than I thought it was going to be.
Fast and steady wins the race too.
Yeah, medium, medium speed there maybe, at least for him and his pet damage, working out quite nicely for Griffin and FlyQuest because it allows your damage members to do poke damage and to push off the enemy team the whole time. So they're not necessary to pump all their spells into the Baron while you're doing it that way.
Cool.
FBI.
Takes one arrow there from Masu, and he is sent back. Ignar getting hit hard. XU and Palafox, though, looking for a flank. Palafox going to try to go for a big play, potentially here once again. Photon coming in, but he has no Narbar whatsoever. Ignar is incredibly low, and Ignar has to flash back to safety, running away as XU goes in, pops the Crescent Guard, and it's a deletion of Masu. It's all up to Quad now. Palafox playing it slower, trying to go forward. He flashes in. He looks for Quad, but Quad flashed over the wall, and now XU is getting knocked down. Gakko's finally going to be finished off. Dignitas are winning the fight, but Quad on the side trying to make it happen here. Quad and Griffin have got to get out of there. They've got to get back to base. They are the only 2 members alive, but Ignar has found Griffin, and they're going to try to chase him down. The Deadly Flourish comes in. Palafox has arrived. Griffin is going to be killed off. Quad is going to get back to base, so it won't be a game ender, but it is a big-time play, a big-time fight for Dignitas, as they should eventually be able to get the Shen.
Yeah, and they should be able to get the Dragon Soul as well.
Stand united, stand united. He's out!
He's out, but they lose the soul. You lose a huge objective. With how long these fights...
Wait, it's going down slow. Can he get there in time? Griffin's running straight forward. They're going to try to burst it.
He has flash!
He has flash. He can actually go for this here. He doesn't have the vision yet. He's going to taunt in. He sees it getting low. They can pull off it. Quad is trying to help him finish, but he's forced to flash back defensively. Photon pushes him out.
Oh, with how long these fights are, Ocean Soul can do so much work in these extended fights. Dignitas, never say it's over if Dig are still breathing.
Was that just the 4th shot from the curtain call from FBI? Because Masu got exploded. Ignar going to get caught out here. They're going to look for a pick onto him. He's taunted up, does pop the Unstoppable Force. He's trying to survive here. looking to just try to back up, but he's getting CC down. Palafox again going into the back line, but this time he is hit by Masu. He is hit by Quad. Palafox still surviving on the side. It's a level 20 Gnar looking for the flank. It's Exu in the middle of the entire team. It's Masu standing and fighting with a double kill. It's a GA being popped. It's FlyQuest with blinking health bars, but everyone is still alive. Again, Dignitas go for the big play. FBI flashes in, gets hit by the crushing maw. He takes him out. FlyQuest, against all odds, win the fight against the Ocean Soul. Dignitas crumbles under the pressure. They tried to go for too much, and they are going to regret that one big time.
First of all, what are these Hui shields? These are massive Hui shields, and FlyQuest, they are going to stay strong despite the Ocean Soul to finish it 2-0.
I cannot believe it. FlyQuest, it looked like they were out of this game, but Dignitas tried to go too far, look for the big play, and FlyQuest outplay them in the fight once again and will take the series 2-0.